Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And Pakistan have managed to win their first T20 international versus Bangladesh in the three-match series. It was a tight encounter and Pakistan won by 4 wickets. And India have also managed to take an unassailable 2-0 lead versus New Zealand, beating them in the second T20 international by 7 wickets. And I'll be talking about both of those games on this volume of CRIQAZI Diaries.
Have a look at that, Smiles up, oh, it's nearly taken someone out of the stands. That was a flat 6 right under the stand there, the George Giffen stand, up into the members, and it went like a rocket.
Let's talk about the Pakistan versus Bangladesh game first. Bangladesh won the toss and elected to bat. And before I get into the game, Bangladesh do not have their 3 most experienced players at their disposal right now. There is no Tamim Iqbal, Shakib Al Hasan or Mushfiqur Rahim. And while Pakistan did introduce some fresh faces for this game, Haider Ali played, Mohammad Nawaz played, and so did Wasim Jr., I really would have liked to see Iftikhar Ahmed in there. He could have featured ahead of Shoaib Malik, and I feel one of Usman Qadir or Shah Nawaz Dhani should have played instead of Haris Rauf. Now, the wickets in Bangladesh are extremely conducive to spin bowling, and I don't think it would have been a bad call had Pakistan gone in with 3 spinners instead of 2, and I think you could have played Usman Qadir ahead of Haris Rauf. Also, if you really wanted to go with 3 pacers, why not give Shah Nawaz Dhani his debut in this game? This is a golden opportunity to test your bench strength, especially when the next T20 World Cup is a year away and the previous one has just ended. On top of which, you're playing a depleted Bangladeshi side, so I'm not quite sure what Pakistan was thinking, but I really hope that in the 2 remaining games, these guys definitely get a go. So Pakistan bowled really well in their bowling innings. They restricted Bangladesh to 127 for the loss of 7 wickets in their 20 overs, and only 3 Bangladeshi batsmen got to double digits. Afif Hussain scored 36 of 34, and Nurul Hasan and Mehdi Hasan finished really well. They were the reason Bangladesh got to 127 in the first place. Nurul Hasan getting 28 of 22, and Mehdi pitching in with a vital unbeaten 30 of 20 deliveries. Pakistan did give away a few too many runs in the death overs, but that's fine. Ultimately, they only conceded 127, and it's good that the batsman got some sort of a score to chase. Hassan Ali redeemed himself somewhat after a nightmare of a T20 World Cup semi-final. He bowled wicket to wicket and managed to get 3 for 22 in a man-of-the-match performance. And this really is a testament to Hassan Ali's character. Responding this strongly after arguably his most disappointing period in his entire career, that is definitely worth some praise and recognition, and I'm confident that Hassan Ali has his best years ahead of him and he's a champion bowler for Pakistan. What I didn't like though was his send-off to Nurul Hasan. He could have potentially gotten a demerit point for that as well, and it's just not a good look. So Hasan, please refrain from that sort of stuff. I know you're frustrated, but you're better than that. Another guy who was extremely impressive for Pakistan was Mohammad Wasim Jr. Now this guy has buckets of talent. He got 2 wickets, only gave away 24 runs in his 4 overs, and we didn't even get to see him bat. Fortunately, but he can really hit the ball a long way, and Wasim is definitely already an upgrade on Fahim Ashraf in white ball cricket. I feel that in next year's T20 World Cup in Australia, where Pakistan will potentially have to go with 4 seamers, Wasim could be a trump card of sorts. Pakistan spinners Shadab Khan and Mohammad Nawaz bowled with a lot of control, some mouth-watering stuff there in the middle by them, especially Shadab's googlies and Nawaz's dismissal of Mahmudullah Riyad as he cleaned up the Bangladesh captain with an absolute beauty. Nawaz took 1 for 27 in his 4 overs, while Shadab took 1 for 20 in his 4 overs, and given that these two finished the game for Pakistan eventually as well, I think they were actually stronger candidates compared to Hassan Ali to win the Man of the Match award. Bangladesh responded really strongly with the ball. Mustafizur Rahman removed Mohammad Rizwan with an absolute jaffa. Rizwan, of course, is the leading run scorer in T20 cricket overall and T20 internationals in this calendar year, and Mustafiz sent his off stump for multiple cartwheels, which I reckon is the best sight in cricket. Babar too was removed early. He played a Taskeen Ahmed delivery onto his own stumps, and Haider Ali and Shoaib Malik were removed for ducks. Malik making a schoolboy error to get run out, and all of a sudden Pakistan were in more than a spot of bother because they found themselves at 24 for the loss of 4 wickets at the end of the power play. Fakhr Zaman and Khush Dilshad then stuck it out in the middle. They took the game deep, bringing Pakistan back into the game and giving the lower order players a platform to finish it off for Pakistan. There was, of course, another twist in the tail. Fakhr got out for a well-made 34 24 of 36, and Khushdil also grinded it out there. He fell for 34 runs off 35 deliveries, and Pakistan still required 32 runs from the last 3 overs to win the game. Nawaz and Shadab though finished the game off with ease. They scored a magnificent 36-run partnership of just 15 deliveries and took Pakistan home with 4 deliveries to spare. An unbeaten 21 of 10 deliveries for Shadab and an unbeaten 18 of 8 deliveries for Nawaz. These two guys won the game for Pakistan, no questions about it, and that's why I feel like one of them should have bagged that Man of the Match award. As for Bangladesh's bowlers, Mehdi Hasan, unsurprisingly, was the pick of the bowlers. He had extremely economical figures of 1 wicket for 17 runs in his 4 overs, and Mustafizur Rahman seems to have come back into form after a dreadful T20 World Cup, as he picked up 1 for 26 in his 4 overs. On to the India game. India won the toss once again. Seems like ever since Virat Kohli has left the captaincy role, India keep winning tosses and they elected to field again, and this time they played a much better game overall to win the game quite comfortably. 3 of New Zealand's batsmen got to the 30s, but none of them could push on for a big score. Martin Guptill provided impetus up top. He scored a quick-fire 31 of 15 deliveries, an innings which also made him the highest run scorer in T20 international history. Daryl Mitchell hung around for 31 of 28 deliveries, and Glenn Phillips top scored with 34 of 21 deliveries. New Zealand actually found themselves at a healthy 125 runs for the loss of 3 wickets at the 15-over mark, with 175 in sight at the very least. But once again, India's death bowling was exceedingly good, and New Zealand were only able to manage 28 runs in their last 5 overs and also lost 3 wickets. This took New Zealand's score to 153 for the loss of 6 wickets after 20 overs, and that was never going to be enough versus India when they're playing at home. Jimmy Neesham is having a series to forget thus far, as today he pretty much lost New Zealand the game single-handedly. He just managed to score 3 runs off 12 deliveries. As for India's bowlers, only Deepak Chahar and Bhuvneshwar Kumar went for runs and everyone else was superb. Akshar Patel managed 1 wicket for 26 runs in his 4 overs, and Ravichandran Ashwin once again starred with the ball, took 1 wicket, gave away only 19 runs in his 4 overs, and his amazing form continues. The pick of the bowlers, however, was debutant Harshal Patel, who was the leading wicket taker in this year's IPL. He managed to take 2 wickets for only 25 runs in his 4 overs on debut. And even though Harshal is considered to be a death over specialist, I think he was fantastic throughout the game. He delivered in both halves, and his wicket of Glenn Phillips later on in the innings, I think that was the turning point in this game, as after that India didn't give New Zealand a sniff and finished really strongly at the death. Keeping all of those things in mind, I think Harshal Patel was deservedly the man of the match, and that's quite a start to one's international career. Surely he has a long way to go. India's batsmen didn't make the chase hard for themselves this time around, as KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma continued their belligerent form, which has been ongoing since their game versus Afghanistan in the T20 World Cup. Rahul scored a brilliant 65 of 49 deliveries, whereas Rohit Sharma pulled his way to perfection. He scored 55 of 36 deliveries and a captain's knock, but he could have been dismissed on 29 had Trent Bolt not dropped his catch. And while India's openers did pretty much manage to kill the game, they did fall eventually to Tim Southee, the New Zealand captain being the only bowler from the Black Cap side who made somewhat of a mark in this game. He also went on to remove Surya Kumar Yadav on the final ball of his spell and ended up with brilliant figures of 3 for 16 in his 4 overs. That said, all of New Zealand's other bowlers took a pounding on the night, and Rishabh Pant finished off the game scoring 2 consecutive sixes off of the bowling of James Neesham, as a result of which India comfortably won the game and took an unassailable 2-0 lead in the 3-match T20 International Series. Now this marks a solid start to Rahul Dravid's tenure as India's head coach and Rohit Sharma's stint as T20 International captain, and I expect India to field an entirely second-string unit in the final T20 International because they've already gotten the series in the bag. That's a wrap for volume 84, folks. As always, if you enjoyed this volume, like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon in order to be notified about all of my latest videos. I'll catch you tomorrow after the second T20 International played between Pakistan and Bangladesh. That's all for now. Kazi off the mic.
Have a look at that. Smiles up. Oh, it's nearly taken someone out the stands. That was a flat 6 right under the stand there, the George Giffen stand, up into the members, and it went